When Justin Trudeau was elected Prime Minister in 2015, he promised gender equality, real action on climate change, repairing relationships with Indigenous peoples. But as we inch closer to the next election, voters are taking a closer look at the man who made those promises. That's the takeaway from columnist John Ivison's new book titled Trudeau, The Education of a Prime Minister. Good to have you live in studio with us this morning, John.
Thank you.
We are just 8 weeks away from this next election. Trudeau won with the majority that none of the polls predicted last time around. What does he need to do this time around to win?
I think he needs to excite people the way he did in 2015. I mean, I guess part of the reason I wrote the book is that people forget how much happened. This was a very activist government. Or let's say it was a busy government. It tried to do a lot of things. It didn't achieve a lot of what it wanted to do. And it broke a lot of the promises that it made. And I think a lot of people have been disillusioned. People who voted for him last time who felt inspired. I mean, the promises went to infinity and beyond. A lot of them have been broken. There have been a lot of unforced errors. And a lot of people are a little bit disillusioned. I think he needs to re-inspire those people.
Which group specifically would be disillusioned?
Well, this is a government that reflects the Prime Minister, and it's veered leftward. I think it's veered leftward from where many Canadians are. I mean, a lot of even the Liberal MPs were telling me this is a country that was built post-war consensus of progressive Conservatives, conservative Liberals, and this is a government that's moved left of that, and it's tried to appeal to a base, left-of-centre base, because of the weakness of the NDP. And I think a lot of those people are not particularly happy with the way things have gone. The broken promise on electoral reform, for example, building pipelines. And then there are people on the right who are obviously felt that this would be a unifying government. Trudeau positioned himself as the great unifier, and yet the country's probably more divided than it was when he came to power.
Let's take a look at something we're watching closely today, which is the SNC House Committee meetings. It damaged brand Trudeau.
Yeah.
But is it enough for him to lose the election?
No. No, I think that people don't vote on that kind of basis. They don't vote on one single issue. The type of person who goes into the polling booth and said, I'm not voting for Trudeau because of those costumes he wore in India, those people don't exist. It's, you know, I think I always liken it to a dam building up and then eventually overflowing when you've got so many problems that have confronted them. I don't think they're at that point yet, but it's going to be touch and go, and it really should have been a slam dunk.
You talk in the book about how he is big on ideas, but maybe lacking in the execution.
Right. I mean, I think that he excites people. That's one of his attributes. And I mean, I hope the book is fair, and it does detail that this is a guy who is a good campaigner. There are many positives to the way, and that's how he got here. He excites people about an idea, but then, according to his own staff, he kind of loses interest, and the execution is left to staff members and ministers, and some of those staff members and ministers were not particularly experienced. And this was a government that tried not to hire people from the Chrétien and Martin years,
right.
And the bias was towards people who were under 40. The bias obviously was towards gender equality.
And in the private sector as well, right? He took people who had not been lifetime politicians.
Right, and I think that some of the problems with execution followed on from that. They learned age-old problems for the first time.
It's called The Education of a Prime Minister. Do you think he has learned any lessons? And if so, what are they?
Well, I hope that he's learned that Canada is a very hard country to govern. On his Twitter bio before he took power, it was changing the world a little bit every day. Changing Canada is a tough thing. It's a tough country to govern because of the geography, because of the history, because of the Westminster system. And I think that if he does get a second term, he might want to be a little bit less ambitious with his ideas and a little bit more focused on the execution.
It's an interesting read, John. Thanks for coming in studio this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.